You are listening to Big Trouble in Little Podcast. And here are your hosts, Joe Dubs and Andy.
Hello, Internet peeps, and welcome to episode 81 of Big Trouble in Little Podcast. I am Joe Dubs.
Hey, and I'm Andy.
I'm Zach.
And we are the NWO. Oh, no, I'm kidding.
No.
Who would be Hulk Hogan? I think Andy would be Hulk Hogan.
Cool.
Why would he be Hulk Hogan? He was the fucking leader. He doesn't lead this shit. That'd be you.
But I want to be Scott Hall.
Why do you want to be Scott Hall? You want to be drunk for like 3/4 of your run?
I am drinking beer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Andy's Virgil. Okay.
Virgil, oh God.
No more wrestling. No more wrestling.
Yeah. If you want to listen to wrestling, make sure you listen to Getting Some Color, which we did a mock draft, by the way, of SmackDown and Raw. But I digress. We are going to be doing Night of the Comet. But before we get to that, I kind of want to do some house cleaning, or whatever, how they fucking say it in podcast land. Housekeeping, not cleaning, keeping.
You're so unfamiliar with both activities that you don't even know what they're called, you slob.
But if you haven't noticed, me and Andy haven't been doing escape from side quests, and mainly because me and Andy watch more movies than gaming. Since Zach plays more games, I mean, we all game, but some game more than others.
Yeah, I don't want to give the impression that I don't play games at all. I just, I don't do it like hardcore. I'm not picking up every Call of Duty when it comes out or anything like that. I just like games, but most of them are old.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to do what we did, I believe, in the beginning of Big Trouble, where we did kind of do movies and gaming at the same time, but then it evolved so many times into like different types of movies. We're going to make it so that we could talk literally about anything besides wrestling, since we have our own wrestling podcast. But,
Right.
when we talk about, games or whatever fucking book or comic book we want to bring up, we'll have segments that get modded into this podcast. So,
And if you think this is a good idea, let us know. And if you hate it, let us know. And maybe you can help shape our destiny.
yes. But on that note, Andy, Zach, what the hell you been doing gaming or movie-wise?
I watched Devil's Backbone again. I already talked about it on the show, so I won't say too much about it. And this is actually what I wanted to talk about. Watched Night of the Comet, of course, and it was on Tubi TV or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they have an app on Amazon Fire Stick, so I was doing that. And I'd seen the movie before, so I was really paying attention to it because I love this movie. But I was also like running cables and trying to get my Saturn hooked up and doing some Dreamcast shit and stuff like that. And when it finished, I just let the credits play, and then the Tubi app just like kicks over to another movie. I didn't realize it, and it played like a 1998 Hong Kong action movie called Contract Killer.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I was like, "What the fuck is this dumb shit?" But then I saw Jet Li, and I was like, "Oh, okay, hang on. Well, I'll give this movie a shot, I guess." But it's like the really shitty dub. Like a couple of the voice actors I recognize from anime, and I'm sure that they replaced some of the soundtrack with like this really terrible gangster rap. But the fights and the stunt work in it was like really good. The plot was like okay, and the acting was fine, but the voice acting was like laughable. But the fights are awesome. There's like a fight in an elevator shaft that is just fantastic. And there's a bunch of really cool scenes, and like it just kind of came on, and I was like, I'll change it in a minute after I'm done doing whatever I'm doing, and then got like sucked right into the movie. And it was actually really good. Like it's not like a 5 out of 5 brilliant movie or anything. It was actually kind of bad in a lot of ways, but it is so entertaining. So It's free. I highly recommend it. If anyone wants to watch a poorly dubbed Jet Li Hong Kong action movie, Contract Killer on Tubi. It's a great time.
Something I want to bring up. Night of the Comic on Tubi didn't have any commercials. I don't know if you guys got any commercials. I didn't.
No, I got like 3 commercial breaks.
I didn't. I got it all straight through. That was weird.
That is weird.
I got one in the beginning, and that was it. There were no breaks after the movie started.
How did you guys watch it?
On Tubi.
No, I mean like on web browser, or did you download an app for a smart TV or Fire or Roku?
Web browser on the computer.
Yeah, same.
When I watched it on the computer, I only had like one. I had one commercial break, but it was like kind of long. But when I watched it on the Fire thing, there were like 3 commercial breaks, but they were all super short.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Who knows? Zach, what about you? What have you been gaming, and what have you been watching?
I've been watching stuff, gaming. I watched Devil's Backbone, like Andy was saying. We all kind of hanged out, and we do like a movie roulette thing, so to speak, usually sometimes. And that came up, and it was, I don't know, meh. I'm real middle of the road about that movie. If I never saw it again, I'd be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Apparently you guys have talked about it before or something.
Well, I saw it, so every time we see a movie, I kind of give a rundown of, oh, this was good, this was bad. See it, I don't care, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, it does not get a recommend from me. See, watch Night of the Comet. We're gonna talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Watch wrestling. Got to do that. And gaming, I've been. Right now, I just started up playing Parasite Eve 2 on PlayStation.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, wait, you just played a fuck ton of Rainbow Six. What's wrong with me?
Oh, yeah, we've been playing that online lately.
I got that on the PS4 Dizzle, so maybe... I just don't have a headset for that shit. I need a headset in order to talk in that game.
Just get a cheap one. Just get one of those fucking $20 ones or something.
True.
You can plug most cell phone headsets up to the controller too. So you might have one lying around, you just don't realize it.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll check that out. Anything else, Zach, or is that just it?
No, I'm kind of playing Parasite Eve right now because it's sort of a horror game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought Parasite Eve kind of had strong horror themes. But it's cool playing it again because I have not played that game since it was new in 2000. I rented it from the Blockbuster. I never owned it. And like playing it again, it's like, wow, it's actually a pretty impressive game. It kind of really pushes the PS1.
Parasite Eve is probably one of my favorite franchises. The first one, I believe, came out during the time of Final Fantasy VII and Resident Evil 2?
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that same year, I think.
Badass. I love playing it, especially recently. I've been going back and playing Parasite Eve 1. I haven't done it lately. When we were doing the Resident Evil series, that was the time where I was playing it.
I might have asked this on the show before, but have either of you played Third Birthday?
Nope. I was kind of... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
That was the PSP game, right?
Yeah, it's like the spiritual sequel, kind of, I think. Mm-hmm. I've always just wondered how much it has to do with it and how much it doesn't.
I heard that... like the Cloverfield movies where it's like in the universe, but not really. I believe I heard it's kind of like that with Third Birthday.
Yeah, it's got kind of a screwy premise. I haven't played it myself yet either, but like I'm going to track me down a copy probably after I finish this game.
I see it every once in a while and I think about picking it up, but I never do it.
I'm going to try it.
I think I have it. But I don't know because I put it in the box because I'm moving soon. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I beat Blasphemous on PS4 like a weekend ago or something, and I kind of gave a shout out to it on our Facebook group. That's a cool game.
Yeah, man, you fucking you just fucking straight up play a lot of games.
I do. I don't know. That's what I say. Like most of my free time spent playing games, actually, less watching things.
Ironically, I spent more time hooking up game consoles than playing games this week.
Me, on the other hand, I've been doing a lot of watching more than gaming. I saw for the first time Taxi Driver. Never saw it before. So,
oh, snap.
I enjoyed it. One thing I want to say, and this is a spoiler, and I don't care if it's a spoiler, it's been out fucking forever. The ending, you think it was a dream sequence, or did he really get praised for shooting up all those pimps and shit?
I wish I made $1 every time I had this conversation. Because I've had it a bunch. No, I think it's fake. I think it's imagination.
Yeah, because I was like, this is too good to be true, like of a happy scene.
That's like perfect, and it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. Zach,
I thought the directors or the writers said that actually happens.
What I've been reading is
I could have sworn I read that somewhere.
What I read, I know what you're talking about because I looked it up and I was like, they alluded to the fact that it could be real and it could not, and I was like, fuck, they always do this where it's just like we have to think if it's real or not. It's like I said before, it's too good, it's too perfect of an ending. I mean, maybe it could happen, but then like wouldn't the Jodie Foster character be like, this guy's a fucking nut? Like he was, he just came out of nowhere and tried to, take me from a place that I didn't want to leave because she didn't want to leave. Oh, anyway, anyway, there is a new Crisis, Infinite Earth kind of thing happening in DC, and I started The Flash. So I know I should have.
The comic or the show?
The show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shows, yeah.
Is the Flash part of like Arrowverse, CW TV universe, or what?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, I should have started with the Arrow because there were some scenes that are kind of like prequels to the Flash, but I kind of fucking figure what's going on anyway because they recap like 1,000 times. I want to see the Flash, I want to see Arrow, and I want to see Supergirl. Even though like Supergirl is like the least favorite out of them all. So, then I watched some Netflix movies. Fractured was pretty good. It's about a father who goes to the hospital with his wife and daughter. The daughter's injured, and then somehow the hospital doesn't know where his daughter and wife is, and he's like going crazy saying, "Where is my daughter and wife?" And it's just like a action thriller kind of thing.
Does it turn out he never had a daughter and wife?
Kinda. I won't.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Just the way you described it, it sounded like that was going to be like the twist. Oh, but he's crazy. It's like Shutter Island.
You're kind of close, but there's like more to it. I recommend it. It's good. I thought it went a little too long. I think it's like an hour and like 45 minutes when it should have been like an hour and 30. But it's good. It has Sam Worthington into it. He's the guy from Terminator Salvation. Yeah, he's good. And then the other movie in Netflix is In the Shadows of the Moon, where in 1988 there was like a killing where people were getting stabbed with this device and they would drain out all their blood and their brains would explode and people were like, what the fuck is going on? There's a serial killer on the loose, and this detective goes crazy because every 9 years the killer comes back, and there's so much twists and turns in this where the end twist was fucking stupid. So I do not recommend this movie.
That's like the same gimmick that the bad guys in Night Trap have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the shitty full motion video, Sega CD, Neo, whatever game.
Mm-hmm.
They have like those weird hooks and like drills in the guy's neck and drains out their blood.
I was gonna say, don't slander the Neo Geo like that. You almost did.
No, not the Neo Geo, the Nemo or whatever. It's an unreleased console. I watched. I guess this could have gone under what I watched. I watched the documentary about it from My Life in Gaming.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't like the ending. I thought it's kind of predictable once you find out what's going on, and just like you're like, oh, this is happening, and they kind of throw a little politics in there, which is kind of like, oh, I see where this is going. I get it. And it wasn't the politics where I was like, this is stupid. That's just like an added feature where I was just like, okay, I get what you're trying to do here, but the twist was still stupid.
So no one recommends anything this week.
No, I mean maybe The Flash. I like The Flash so far.
Okay, fair enough. Oh wait, you saw Taxi Driver. You don't recommend Taxi Driver, then you're looking for a new co-host, buddy.
I like Taxi Driver.
Okay, good.
I don't even have to say recommend that film. Everybody should see it anyway.
Do you like it better than Baby's first Taxi Driver? I mean Joker.
Very funny.
I stole that joke. I stole it. It's mine now. I stole it from the internet.
I actually like Taxi Driver over Joker, but that's apples and oranges. I think.
Oh. Have you ever seen? This is neither here nor there, and I've already said it on the show. But have you ever seen King of Comedy?
I've heard about it.
It's because I talked about it on the show. But it's really funny, and it also has some visual similarities to Joker in a weird, interesting way. But anyway, let's move on.
Well, let's get in the movie of the week. So Andy chose Night of the Comet, and
criminally underlooked zombie apocalypse teenager movie. What is this? What is this movie?
I don't even know, but I was more focused on like what the teenagers were doing compared to this semi-secret organization that it could be vampires. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, their emblem is like a maze. That's stupid. I hate that. I hate it so much.
It's a post-apocalypse youth movie.
Yes.
I just want to say I love the fucking 80s, and I wish I grew up in the 80s. I don't know.
Did you not?
I mean, I was alive for 2 years, but I wouldn't say grew up.
But you wish that you were like in your adolescence and your teenage years.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we'd be older.
We would. And we'd probably have careers and probably not do podcasting. I don't know. Can't tell the future or alternate timelines.
Maybe I'll be able to afford a home. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Zach?
I was just going to say, like when this movie just opened up and stuff, it just, something about 80s movies, like set in like what was then modern day. You know how the intros to 80 movies always go? It plays some kind of real catchy fucking music.
Mm-hmm.
Shows a street shot. You see all the stuff out in the street, like around town stuff, and just gets you real into it. And it's just like something about 80s movies in settings like that. Always just like, all right, I'm ready to watch this. I'm excited.
Yeah. I love the music. I love like I don't know how to describe the way that I mean, obviously it's shot on film, but there's like, I don't know, a feel to this movie. I love that the whole movie, the sky is red. That really adds a lot to the movie. And, but the very first thing that happens in the movie is that weird narration about the comet. I forgot about that from the first time I'd seen this movie. It's really good.
Yeah.
But then it shows her playing Tempest, which is an arcade game I fucking love. So immediately I'm like on board.
Yeah.
I love Tempest.
She's also a bad worker, because.
Oh yeah, she sucks.
Because
I mean, that was teenagers in the 80s. They took just jobs to just get some money, and they were like, fuck, this sucks. I just want to play video games and fucking ride my bike.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, we don't see it too much. She's just trying to play some Tempest, and this guy wants her to go get milk duds thrown at her.
Yeah.
Then she takes the popcorn and goes to the projector area and stays there for the night, and does Bumping the Nasties with his name is Dupree, right?
Larry Dupree, and our main character is Regina Belmont.
Oh, their last name is Belmont. That's so cool.
I just love the fucking the mom and shit where she's just like, I'm gonna go have sex with this guy, and she
Doris.
like, yeah, she fucking knocks Samantha in the face, like in the face.
Yeah,
Just punches her.
She's a shitty person.
Yeah.
Their stepmother sucks.
Who is she gonna be with? Carl or whatever his fucking name is.
Whoever lived across the street.
Chuck.
Chuck.
And he was just some guy. Yeah, some guy who was just like a neighbor or something.
You were born with an asshole. You don't need Chuck.
That was funny.
Yeah. So what did the narration say? Like, do you want to give a synopsis? What the narration was saying, Andy?
The comet has a huge elliptical orbit so wide that it only comes by the Earth once every 65 million years. The last time it came by, all the dinosaurs died, and that's like a foreshadow to what's gonna fucking happen. And then it comes, like everyone's excited because they're gonna get to see this comet, and it's like what 12 days till Christmas or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of movies that are set like right before Christmas. I like it. It's neat.
Yeah, they had like a viewing party and everything, and like most of the people cared about it, but like other people were just like, just fucking watch it on TV. Like I believe Dupree said that. He's like, you have a TV, right? And what was he doing, by the way? Was he getting like an illegal?
Getting laid, man.
Well, no.
He was letting somebody borrow a movie from the theater, I think, like The
Right.
Reel or something.
Yeah, they had like a bunch of film, and he loaned it to some audio or not audio file. What's the movie version of that? Filmophile.
Cinemaphile.
Cinemaphile. Yeah, that's right. Loaned it to some cinemaphile, and he's making $115. Is that what it was? He like haggled him up. Now you're talking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought the cast was pretty like well rounded. They had their cheesy moments. I mean, the script ain't fucking like Taxi Driver or something, but like
This movie's cheesy as hell. Hell.
It's not cinema. Just say it. Just say what you mean, Dubs. It's not cinema, okay?
but like I was actually the dialogue was genuine. I want to say it wasn't like forced or anything. Where it's just like, all right, I get it. I thought Regina and Sam did pretty well together. Hector, on the other hand, he seemed out of place for me. And I'm not being like, I guess if you want to make me a racist or anything, it's not because he's Spanish. I kind of like the actor because he's in Star Trek Voyager. That's right.
Was he Spanish? I thought he was Latino or whatever.
He's Mexican, isn't he?
Well, you said Spanish. That's not the same thing.
Oh God, I'm racist then. Holy shit.
Yeah, just let Spanish people hear you say that. They'll get mad.
Yeah.
But he seemed a little bit stilted
Mhm.
compared to the others.
Like Regina and Sam seemed calm. Hector, on the other hand, like his like anger was like up and down until pretty much the end, where he started doing this like cowboy thing in front of the.
He's going through an identity crisis. He showed back up as Santa first. Like, and I was like, "What the fuck is he?" Oh, he actually had presents. So I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
he had
he's
presents.
gonna-
He was trying to be like real sweet and surprise her and whatever. Like I get
Yeah.
that. And then the other thing is just I don't know. He's fucking around. It's funny. Why not?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's weird '80s movie shit. This kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
Would you? Do they classify as zombies, or are they classified just as like monsters that were just?
I think someone says zombie during the movie, don't they?
A couple people say zombie.
Yeah, like they call them zombies, so I'm calling them zombies. Like they can obviously still talk. I think they're more like Return of the Living Dead style zombies, where like they know what they want and they have a certain level of intelligence to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They want those sweet bodily fluids.
And the secret organization, the one female. Now, let me see if I'm getting this correctly. She acted like a bitch for a good reason, correct? Because she knew.
Yeah.
She knew.
I honestly think they do a really good job because the whole movie you're like, oh, she's a bad guy. She doesn't want to save him. She's a bitch. She just wants to save herself. And then at the end of the movie, you realize, oh, she's the only one who's not a bad guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was actually got genuinely swerved by that. Pretty much everything that she did.
Yeah, I was like, oh, and by the way, she killed herself, whatever needle that was, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's rewind that. Before she did that, before she pointed a gun at Santa, aka Hector, um, she put the needle in Sam. Did it not affect Sam? I didn't
It
get
was
it.
sodium pentothal. He says that.
Oh, I missed that part then because I was like,
Yeah,
wait.
when he's opening up the trunk, he's like, "Oh, some lady shot her full of sodium pentothal, so they'd think she was dead." That's him telling the viewer, "Oh, she's not dead, you idiot."
What do you guys think of the clothing store bandits, whatever those people were?
They're called the Stock Boys.
I just realized that works on two levels.
That's what they referred to themselves as.
Yes, but stock boys, like they work stock, but also they were stalking them. It's clever. I just got that.
It's another quirky '80s movie gang, the Stock Boys.
Mhm.
And I kind of liked them. They were entertaining. I love the line the leader guy does. There's like he's just terrorized them, and they got him. And Regina's like, "You're crazy." He's like, "I'm not crazy. I just don't give a fuck." For some reason, that just got me.
I also like his over the top scene chewing like accent where he's like a DJ or something.
Yeah,
hilarious.
That dude was good.
Especially
This movie has a ton of really good lines in it too.
It does.
Yeah, I also like the part where he I told you not to get one of my men as a hostage or something along that line, and he's like, no, you don't get it. He just fucking shoots this fucking guy. I was like, what the hell is going on here? But oh man, that's one of my favorite scenes with the stock boys and everything. Like they're like, oh, you need to owe us somehow because we own the store because everybody else died, obviously.
I also really like how really, really super stupid it is, and how I should hate it, but I actually love it. When Regina's hiding, and it shows a bunch of shots of the store, and they're like looking for her, and then when they finally see her, she's like posing like a mannequin, and then goes to shoot them, and they're just like, "Whoa!" and they like drop down and cover. Oh my god, it's so stupid, but it's hilarious.
I was expecting that to happen. They kind of set it up. But I was like, yeah, it's funny. It got me.
There was one mannequin. I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find any proof. But I think there's a shot of a mannequin at that point that isn't a mannequin. I think it's an actress. I think it's to trick you. But I might just be crazy. But I could have sworn one of the mannequins was randomly an actual person just to fuck with your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not though.
Director, is he known by anything else, or did he just do all these? Oh, he did Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
He did a couple of somewhat notable movies. He did that one that I kind of want to see where it's about Sherlock Holmes, but he's actually a buffoon. And it's actually like Watson that's the genius.
Oh, Without a Clue?
Yeah, Without a Clue. I've never seen that movie, but it sounded kind of interesting when I read it.
Apparently it's what he's most known for.
Never seen it.
I've never even heard of it until just now.
That came out in 1988.
Seemed like he had a decent little run of some 80s movies. He did a movie that Keanu Reeves was in, I think, before Bill and Ted, which is interesting. And he did another movie that had Kurt Russell in it.
He directed Captain Ron, yeah.
Yeah, Captain Ron, yeah. I was like, oh shit, this guy's done some things. He just kind of like fell down the memory hole, as they say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seems like.
Interesting. Yeah.
You want to mention his name? It's like fucking talking about people and not mentioning their name or anything.
Tom Eberhardt.
Yeah.
I think. There's a couple extra continents in there, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think what else to say about this fucking movie. Because everything was... I was interested throughout the whole movie. I wasn't bored or anything. I wasn't going, man, is this movie ending in any way? I thought it flowed pretty well.
Yeah, it did. I was just gonna say, sometimes I think it's a little harder to like talk about a movie if it's just good. Mm-hmm. Usually,
yeah,
it's like you can. It's just it's more praise, and when it gets to a point where it's like, well, I can only praise something so much. But
I really like the soundtrack. I love the original music they made for the movie to death. Yeah. And a lot of the like shitty 80s pop in it is like perfect. Like it's not stuff I'm gonna like play driving around town in my car.
I am.
it works for the movie so well.
I think that was a cover of Cyndi Lauper, by the way. I don't think that was the actual song.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a cover. You're right.
That was a cover. It was a pretty good cover though. It sounded almost like if you weren't paying attention, you might think, "Is this? Oh, it's Cyndi Lauper."
Mm-hmm. It's pretty.
But
pretty.
I'll go ahead.
It was dead on, but I was gonna move on to a subject. Regina and Sam's dad, were they implying that he was like across seas or Ecuador or something like that, where he's?
No, they say he's a Green Beret. He's in, is it Ecuador? I think they say it at some point in the movie. But you see the picture of him at their home, and he's like in his dress greens. And they say at some point when he got back from Vietnam, their mother split, and obviously he taught them how to shoot and how to defend themselves. And they basically grew up on this military base. They know where the weapons are held.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the movie was pretty heavy-handed with like their dad's a Green Beret. That's how they know how to shoot, or stuff like that.
And
because otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Where do they get these guns? Why do they know how to do judo? I don't know.
You guys are good with guns, or know about guns. What were they shooting with? Were those Mac 11s, or were they? Because
she even names it. She says Mac 10 was basically made for housewives.
Yeah, that was pretty much a Mac 10.
Okay, because
so that was legit.
Because there was a part where Sam was like, "Man, I wish we had an Uzi or something like that."
That's like one of the best lines in the movie, I think, because the Mac 10 keeps jamming, and she goes, "Daddy would have got us Uzis." I guess that line was actually improvised. I read, like she made that up because the gun was jamming or something.
Yeah,
she made that line up to justify the stupid gun jamming.
Man,
it's pretty clever.
Where did they film this, by the way?
I guess in L.A. I think that's part of downtown L.A. somewhere.
I mean, yeah, some of the shots are very distinctly like exterior LA or whatever.
Yeah, well, I was reading a little bit, or no, I didn't read. I watched a little featurette thing where it had some of the actresses talking about the movie, like way after the fact. They said, yeah, they were actually in downtown LA on like Christmas Day, and that's how they were able to get so many shots where it just looked deserted.
Oh, where there's no traffic. Ah, that's funny. I was wondering that. It's like, did they clear out several city blocks to shoot these scenes, or is this a backlot?
Nope, they just did a cheapo happenstance. Hey, it's holiday season.
Good old fashioned Gone in 60 Seconds style.
Yeah.
I did like the detail in that where they were on the roof and they were like talking, and you could hear like an echo because the city obviously is vanished with from the comet and stuff. So that detail was pretty cool. I'm looking at interesting box office numbers here. Their budget was estimated around $700,000, and I guess this was in the movies because it says opening weekend USA they made like $3,578,000.
Yeah, I think it grossed like 14 million.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a success.
Why don't people talk about this movie more? I'm genuinely confused.
Yeah, it's like the director. He got memory hold.
I guess. The only reason I knew about this movie is I watch a YouTube series called How to Drink, where a guy makes a bunch of like cocktails and stuff. And there's a Resident Evil episode, and he says, my 3 favorite zombie movies. It's like Night of the Living Dead, something, and it's kind of cheating, but Night of the Comet. And the 2 movies he said I love to death. And then they said Night of the Comet. I said, what the fuck is that? So I looked it up and thought, oh, I guess I'll watch it. It's free. And then I fell in love with it, of course.
The genre in IMDb, they have it as comedy, horror, and sci-fi, which
Sure.
they check off all of them. So
yeah, I guess that makes sense. This movie, I was gonna say, I don't know if it ever got much exposure beyond the theater. A friend of mine says he saw it on TV when he was a kid, so I gotta take his word at that. But it also has a release from Arrow in the UK and a release from Vinegar Syndrome here in the United States. But sometimes it's branded as an Arrow release, so I'm confused. I don't know who actually did it.
I mean, I could see this on TV because there ain't a lot of nudity. Like, all I remember was Sam getting undressed and maybe you saw her nipple through her bra.
Yeah, you could totally cut that scene out though, because it's just like a double fake out dream thing.
There was a double dream.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that they got that complicated with it. But I hate the fact that that scene where she's driving and the police pull her over and they're actually zombies is a dream. I wish that was part of the actual narrative because I really like that scene.
I thought it was. It was kind of funny because usually, like nowadays, you can like if you see movies where they try to do that, oh, it was those quick dream sequence thing.
Yeah,
You can always tell when it is or what's going to happen, and I couldn't tell. Both times I couldn't tell. So it actually got me. It swerved me again.
You got swerved.
Since we're like praising a lot of it, and were there anything that you were just like, man, I could have lived without this scene, or hated something minor because we've been praising this film for so far during the podcast?
I gotta think about that for a sec.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
No, I don't know. not really, I guess.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, as far as a stupid sci-fi horror comedy from the 80s about two sisters in the post-apocalypse goes, I don't know where there's room for improvement, really.
Yeah. It's pretty silly. I'll say that. And
Oh, it's incredibly silly. This movie's silly as all hell.
it's silly, but it's fucking good. That's the thing I like about it. It's just like I had a good time watching this. And not saying last week with Videodrome, I was more like, what is going on and what did this mean? I was trying to find the meaning of the film and be like, what the fuck is James Woods doing? Most of the scenes. This one, I was like, I like the interaction between the three teenagers, and that's one thing I say. I hated the organization that wanted to like take the children's blood and stuff. I could.
Sets underground are pretty lame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But if it was a scientific utilitarian bullshit, I mean, it would look lame.
That's probably true.
Most likely.
Everything's all gray and shitty and uninspired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You gotta have bad guys, and to me, they made good bad guys because they were weird, detached assholes.
Yeah, for sure.
They just wanted to rain on the parade of, man, what are these girls gonna get into next?
And were they needing the kids' blood to kind of like stay normal? Was that the
They
thing?
had a theory that they could develop some kind of serum cure or something that would reverse their fucking process or something.
They had a dumb, shitty plan.
Yeah, basically.
They were desperate and they were going crazy.
Mm-hmm. And except that one person that was acting like a bitch, but actually wanting to, save the kids and stuff. I just love that they had like two little kids there just sitting there, and that they were just saved at the end.
Yeah. And then they were adopted, I guess.
Yeah, that's weird. They're like getting photographs and she's acting like a happy mother. And it's just weird. That part's weird.
Yeah. And then like Sam was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Waiting for the light." And I kept on thinking, I was like, I guess they're trying to like get normal again, but
you know what? Now that you bring that scene up, that scene almost got to the point where it was like, they could have cut that out and it would have been okay.
I thought that originally, but I've seen it twice, and I did have something to say about the final scene. I think the movie is cleverly bookended by like, society, everything's going to be okay, because at the beginning everything's fine, and she's playing Tempest and working her job and screwing this guy, and all we got to worry about is cheerleader practice and all this other stuff. We have real problems, and then all that bullshit happens at the end of the world. And at the end of the movie, a bunch of the same elements turn back up, like DMK, the guy who like beat her high score. It's implied that the guy in the car is him. And it's like they're trying to get back to society, and everyone's dressed reasonably again, and he's thrown away the guns, like they're no longer armed or anything like that. It's like bookending to be like, oh, but everything was okay or something like that.
But Yeah, I was gonna say as soon as DMK rolled up and all that happened, and I kind of was like, "Oh, okay, I see." And
That part's really-
that kind of saved it for me.
That's really cool, and I like that. But I've been trying to figure this out. Well, how the fuck does he have a vanity plate? He stole that car, right? He's like, oh, I got 23 of them.
I thought he was just a rich kid, like he came from a rich family. That was just immediately what my brain thought because he looked like that, you know.
I was thinking it was more like, oh, I have 23 cars now. Everyone's gone, so I can just take whatever I want.
Here's a little nitpicking that I kind of disliked when he, said his name and everything. Like Regina, she did like this little nod to the camera, like, "Hey, that's DMK, the one who got on my high score list, where I wanted to be the only one on the high score." Like, I wish she said something more than rather be like, "All right, you got to be home by 12." Be like, "Hey, you fucking beat one of my scores. What the fuck?"
I like it better this way because she doesn't realize it. I can say this and you can believe me or not, but I remember feeling really clever when he says what his full name is. Because I thought it was weird that he said his full name and then I realized what the initials were. But then the movie force feeds it to you with his vanity plate, so that was a little bit of a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another tiny nitpick. It's implied, like when she gets up the next morning after the one guy gets killed, but she doesn't know it yet. She's frustrated because he's got that high score. It's number 6, and she goes and plays the game and beats his score. But the way they frame it is like she beat it, and then she gets to take the number 6 spot. That's not how high scores on arcade cabinets work. You'd have to do it 6 times and then bump him all the way down. So she might have actually done that, but it's just they don't frame it like that.
I mean, it looked to me like she had the whole board covered, and she probably just sabotaged herself a little bit to erase him.
Yeah. I have to assume it was something like, realistically, it's probably what it was. But it's just weird. It's weird.
Are we done talking about the movie? Do we want to go into ranking?
No, I'm not done talking about the movie.
Okay, go.
Because we jumped around a lot. But
yeah, no, there's a lot. I mean, most of what I want to say about this movie is just like praise, though, myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just little bits. I really like that whole sequence when she comes out of the movie theater and she's like exploring the city and it's just fucking deserted. I think that's pretty cool. It's unsettling, especially when she's up next to the car. She pulls up next to that old Mercedes.
I love that shot. Yeah, I agree.
And then it's playing the Christmas music, and you can hear it. Yeah, that was really fucking cool.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Like I thought Larry was going to be in this movie more. Like he just seemed like a character that would be in this whole movie for some reason.
Yeah, he does. Like he's got like screen presence, and he seems like a character. And then he just gets his skull bashed in by a wrench. And it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it was like, oh, okay, well, Virginia's still in this movie, so whatever, I guess.
I think that's what's creative about it, though, because it kind of makes it seem like it's going to be about her and him. Like zombie movies, that would be something that would happen. And then he opens that door, and it's like, bam! Like immediately, he's just dead. There's not like a fight or anything. It's just he drops dead, and it's kind of shocking.
It was shocking. It was like, oh yeah, he's probably dead. I was like at least 70% sure. And then he was really dead. But then, I noticed this too in that scene where he gets dragged away when the zombie guy hits him in the head with the wrench. He drags him through the door there, and when the door shuts, there's a poster for a movie called Red Dust.
Yeah, I got that on the second viewing, not the first.
And then I was like, oh, okay, because it showed that scene where it was like all the people had the dust left behind and everything.
Yeah, from the viewing party.
I love the radio station set. That whole fucking radio station was like ridiculous.
Yeah, that's so weird. Like I've been to radio stations, they did not fucking look like that.
It was very aesthetic. I was like, I fucking love this place.
When Sam was messing around with the radio, like this is another nitpicking, but when she was chewing into the microphone, I was like, stop it.
I like that scene though. She like pushes all the dials all the way up. I was waiting for her to be like, hey, and then like some blow out or something, but they don't do that.
Yeah. that scene when Hector goes back to his mom's house, like he drives all the way to San Diego, goes over there.
Yeah.
And then like that, there's like that zombie kid that chases him.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's like this weird music that's playing the whole time. It's like really inappropriate. Was that from the record player or was that just the fucking movie? I couldn't tell.
Oh, it's from the record player. And I wanted to point this out. I love that the soundtrack in this movie is always like part of the movie. It's like the song is in the scene, and then there's like an exterior shot, or you're outside of the car or something like that, and the music is distant. Because every time there's music in this movie, it's because the characters are listening to it. It's not just randomly inserted just for fun.
That's true, actually.
Like when they're doing the shopping montage, it's because they visually show, here's the boombox, they put in the tape, girls just want to have fun. And when the music stops, it's because he shoots it with a shotgun.
Yeah.
It's like the music is part of the movie. It's not just another layer that they added in post. When they shot and wrote the movie, they had to consciously be like, there's a song here, it gets played from here, she's listening to this, it's inside the movie theater. When she opens the door, you can hear it for a second, stuff like that.
Yeah. It's pretty neat little thing there. I like that scene where Hector comes back and like Audrey White's there. That's the female scientist. She has a really cool line there too. She's like, "You are cute, Santa Claus." For some reason, I just thought that was cool. That she
has a bunch of good lines because there's that. There's, "Do you need one of these?" "No, I have one." "Oh, it seems to be the Christmas gift this year." But one of my favorite lines in the whole movie is she's talking to that guy, the other guy from the evil organization.
Oscar.
And it's like, "Oh, did you expect me to go for my gun?" He's like, "Oh, no." And then bang, she shoots him. I laughed both times.
Other than that, that thing where it looked like Sam died, actually thought she was dead. Going back to swerves. Other than that, it's just little things I kind of like looked up about the movie and found out about how like apparently this movie kind of influenced the creation of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, did you notice that their dog's name was Buffy?
I didn't know. I must have just not caught it or something.
Early in the movie, she like picks up a leash that's attached to a collar, like the dog used to be in the collar, and she's like, "Buffy, where is that dog?" And it's just like a throwaway thing. So I thought that was funny.
This was like I could see how though. It's like a kind of an action movie. It's female protagonists. One's pretty strong, and yeah, you know. And then other than that, I saw there's a remake planned for this movie, and the script has been produced already, and I was like, oh my god, no!
I didn't know that.
It's got turned in this year.
Huh.
So
I was noticing on the IMDb page, it says the popularity is up 1,039. It's like way up. And I was like, well, there's a couple different reasons for that. Now I realize that what you just said is one of the reasons. But it's October, so people are watching spooky movies, and we announced we were going to watch it. We have a huge listener base, so they probably all want to watch it, I assume.
Hey, we do.
Huge.
Huge.
Kind of sidetrack. I didn't know Larry Dupree was fucking Michael Bowen. He was in Kill Bill as Buck and Marcus Dargis and Jackie Brown, and he's also
he was Buck in Kill Bill.
Yeah,
I didn't fucking know that. Oh my god! Oh man! Now I wish he was in this movie more.
Oh man, this is. And going back to what you were saying, Zach, like, or my bad, Andy, about the music thing and like the detail, the camera shots are really well, and just the small details of the music and just how I said before with the echo going on because of Empty City. I like what they did with that. They didn't just make a fucking shitty movie and been like, all right, we're just gonna do it because it's a shitty movie and I have money and I just want to put it out there.
Yeah, the people who made this movie clearly wanted to make a good movie. And I think simultaneously one of the best things about this movie is like the only major bad thing about it. And that is that this movie does what it sets out to do perfectly. And the only thing it doesn't have going for it is it's not like a deep commentary on society or a character study about, mental problems or anything. It's not Seven Samurai or Casablanca. It doesn't have some deep meaning. It's just a really good action movie.
Mm-hmm. And that's what the
So-
80s were all about. Just fucking fun and shit. I mean, they had their politics movies and all that stuff, but a whole lot of this. Good.
Yeah, the 80s was like prime time for sci-fi, horror, and stuff like this. Comedy,
Big dumb action movies.
big dumb action movies. Just a lot of fun, engrossing movies.
Yep, and Hector, I will say again, was in Star Trek Voyagers.
Yeah, I think that's part of why no one talks about this movie is like Zach was saying. It kind of all the actors and the people who made it did a really good job, but they all just kind of fell into all the cracks. I was trying to figure out like what Regina, what the main chick had been in, and it's like she was a voice in Red Dead Redemption 2, and there was something else I recognized.
She's aged really well, by the way.
She's just like in a bunch of TV shows, like one-off stuff.
Mhm.
She still looks the same, just older.
I do like the when Regina was talking to the secret organization guy, and he was like clearly annoyed with the answers he was getting.
Oh yeah, have you ever had hepatitis? Have you had hepatitis? This is very important.
I was almost pregnant once. That was one of the really good lines there. Like, scariest 3 weeks of my life.
And then she said something about cancer, and she's like, "I'm a cancer" or something like the star.
Cancer? You have cancer? No, I am a cancer, because he says that she's like strong-willed or something like that. She's like, oh, cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Cancers are strong-willed, I guess.
Lol.
Good line, good writing, snappy dialogue.
Yeah. Man, I highly recommend this film.
Me too. I mean, I made that clear going into it. I kind of cheated because everyone else is choosing stuff they hadn't seen before. I chose this movie because I wanted to shine a light on it. I love this movie.
I mean, that's valid too.
What about you, Zach?
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of it. Yeah, I recommend it. I'm gonna buy me a copy to own it. I just have to figure out if I want the Arrow one or the other one Andy said. I've never heard of that group.
They are. It's not. I don't know enough about it, but I think either copy you can't really go that wrong with.
Okay.
Or no, I said Vinegar Syndrome earlier. No, it's Shout. Shout released it in the United States.
Shout.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually still looking at this film. Arthur Albert, who's the cinematographer of this film, is known for The Blacklist, which the show I'm watching, Breaking Bad, Happy Gilmore, and Better Call Saul. So
Okay, so that guy went on to do stuff.
Mm-hmm. So he's a good guy. He did a lot of TV series too. You know, I see ER in there. You know, good shows. Let's get into ranking. Is our stick here. I'm gonna put Night of the Comet at number uno, and then I'm gonna have Videodrome at number 2. Zach, what about you?
I put it's Night of the Comet is 2 for me. Videodrome is still 1.
Okay, and Andy.
I did what you did. Night of the Comet's number 1.
Okay.
Like I coming into it, I already knew I really loved this movie, and I'd seen Videodrome before too. But you know, it's hard because they're both extremely good. And honestly, if like my mood would change even the slightest, that order could change very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Like Videodrome is obviously a much deeper movie. No pun intended with the ability to join this thing, but. there's a lot more going on. Like with repeated viewings, I think Videodrome would be a more rewarding experience. But for like what they set out to do, Night of the Comet just nailed it.
Interesting. And I think I chose Night of the Comet for number 1 is because I highly enjoyed it. Again, like Videodrome, I respected it in a way, and I'm not like saying it's a bad movie because it's at number 2 for me. I was finding more of the meaning and what it meant, what was happening in that movie, rather than being like, oh, I'm having a good time. Because I guess I wasn't having a good time in Videodrome. I was like, what is going on? I'm frightened what I'm looking at right now.
Videodrome like grabs you and says, guess what, motherfucker, we're going for a journey. And then it like drags you through the narrative, and you're like, oh my God.
It's unsettling.
To these people.
It's unsettling and weird. You get a tone of that the whole time.
Yep.
It's like, you know, drinking a lot of tequila and then just some dude giving you a swirly in the bathroom. That's what Videodrome reminds me of a little bit.
That's what happens when I drink tequila. I give somebody else a swirly.
Jesus,
I guess
asshole.
you guys shouldn't drink tequila together because we know what would happen.
I guess I would get a swirly. That sucks.
There would
Anyway,
be violence.
next movie we're gonna be watching is George Romero's The Crazies. I didn't watch this film. What about you guys? Have you seen this film before?
Nope.
No.
Never seen it. Never heard of it.
So we are gonna be going into this blind, and I love that we're going in blind. I think it's a good idea. So remember to, and I believe George Romero's The Crazies is on Amazon Prime, and it's free streaming, so you can go in there and watch it, and then come back here, and then we could just talk about it. But yeah, so until next time. Well, no, we're not finishing yet.
Fake out.
Another swerve.
I think this beer is getting to me. Let's get into some news that matter to us. Something gaming news right now. Have you guys been following the Blizzard fiasco?
Yes.
Vaguely.
I mean, like, I know about it, but I'm not super into it, so to speak.
The synopsis of the fiasco is that they had like a Hearthstone tournament or something like that. And
Hearthstone?
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone.
Whatever. The fucking card game that Blizzard owns. One of the pro players decided to do like a political statement during their stream, and Blizzard automatically said, "Hey, you're banned forever," or something like that. Or was it a year?
A year.
I thought he was banned forever, and then they brought it down to a year, and then they're just like, and all the backlash was happening, so they went to 6 months.
No, they banned him for a year, and then it became half a year, and they decided to reward him his prize money instead of giving him dick.
Yeah, I think that's the one I'm kind of mad at. Is like this, kid who trained all his life to play this card game and get like $10,000, and Blizzard's like, nah, bitch, we're taking your money because we have business with China, and you can't be doing this.
Well, it's not just that. I was going to say they actually have a policy that's clearly stated not to have any kind of political shit or anything on their streams. That is something that was already set in place already.
Yeah, but does it deserve to be a year and take your prize money?
Well, I suppose not. But what do you do if you break the rules? I suppose just
I would say
nothing.
I would no. I'm not even saying nothing. If it would have been 6 months and he get to keep his prize money, I think I would have been like, yeah, it's in the terms of service and all that stuff. But they clearly wanted to make an example out of him because they have deep business with China. And, first of all, taking the money and then a fucking year. And I know a lot of people could be like, well, get a real job and all that stuff. But some of these people that stream and do like pro gaming, it's their life. It's kind of like
that is their job.
Yeah, it's like mining and stuff. Are you gonna tell a miner learn to code, motherfucker? Like, no.
Yeah. No, yeah, and like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they should have taken his money anyway. That was the part I was like, well, you could have let the guy keep his money. Goddamn.
Mm-hmm.
But
he earned that fair and square. But I don't know. The band thing was whatever, I guess. But I don't know. It's really weird. And honestly, I kind of feel like they probably never really thought they'd get into a situation like that, or that they'd have to actually enact that. That's never happened.
Blizzard's policy is, in fact, like the way it's stated is that no one can say anything that would bring. I can't remember the exact wording, but no one is allowed to say anything that would bring criticism or like this kind of attention to Activision Blizzard. That's what it says, and that's what it did. So you could argue that what he did was wrong, but all the backlash that they got was from them immediately, firing the two people that were talking to him and fining him and taking his money away and stuff like that. Like, they didn't give it a chance to see what would happen. And also, it's just the whole meta of how China is dictating a lot of censorship in business in the West. So that's the whole conversation everyone's trying to have. This story has, like, in gaming circles, it's important because everyone's talking about what you can say on streams and stuff like that. But like, a couple of congressmen have weighed in on it. It's made it into, like, mainstream news. Vice has done like fucking 5 articles on it, but they're Vice. What do you expect them to do? There's been a bunch of other articles from other places that have talked about it in depth. And if you want depth to this, there's a lot more. Like, Tencent, the largest technology conglomerate in the world, is a Chinese held business, and they own a big part of Activision Blizzard. And they own parts of a bunch of other game companies, and a lot of people point toward that. It's like, oh, Tencent like owns this huge stake. I think it's a full 5% in Activision Blizzard. It's either 5 or 10%. It's like something pretty substantial.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are like reading into that and reading into this other stuff with China, and like, the government in China is just super shitty right now. Everyone's heard, oh, they banned Pooh Bear because of a bunch of memes, which is true. I mean, we can laugh about it, but they fucking banned Winnie the Pooh because some people on the internet said their president looked like Winnie the Pooh. That's pretty petty.
They've done shit like that forever.
Yeah,
they've been like that forever.
It's accelerated a lot under like this new. They have. Something about their government changed. I have to admit, I'm not as educated on that front of it, but it's something to do with the last, I think, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been reading a lot about this. I am pretty interested in the whole thing as it has been developing.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like it should have been silent. Like I said before, if it's obviously in the terms of service, and when you sign a contract saying I will not do any religion or political stuff while I'm on this stage doing this tournament, I can understand a consequence in that. But I think was unacceptable is when they fired the 2 commentators, which were clearly trying to hide behind a computer screen because they know he's doing something pretty risky.
I think they knew what he was about to do, and arguably they could have been like, cut the feed or some crap, which is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Blizzard took that to imply complacency on their part or something like that.
I didn't know about the 2 other guys getting fired. That's like a whole other deal there.
I don't know if they were fully fired or if they were just like suspended or something like that. There's something like that.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I feel really conflicted about this because it's kind of one of the things that aggravates me a lot about fucking pop culture hobby shit lately is how it seems like everybody wants to fucking bring politics into shit. And I kind of prefer, like, I kind of agree with the stance they were trying to hold, which is like, don't bring politics here. It's just gaming. Don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it happened. But by that same token, this is kind of something that's really fucked up that guy is like protesting.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't say it for nothing. It's a big deal what's happening in Hong Kong, and I don't. Yeah, by the same, in the same breath, I don't want to bring all that bullshit into Big Trouble in Little Podcast. That's not our arena. No. But it is a big deal what's happening in Hong Kong, and I think it's everyone's responsibility to know what's going on in the national stage, not just in that respect, but also stuff with Tencent or stuff with people firing back at Blizzard, or what's going on in China, one of the largest economic powers on the planet. You should know a little bit about what's going on. So, pull your head out of Hearthstone a little bit and look around, I guess.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that, even Blizzard employees, they did like a protest. They walked out of their buildings to, protest what happened to the player and the announcers and what Blizzard was doing, because they have like a motto or a slogan or something where every voice matters. but
lead nationally, or or every voice matters and something else. There's like a third line. Yeah, it was one of the Vice articles that I read, but they said like every day a bunch of them go outside and stand around the orc. That's his exact words. They have like 12-foot tall statue of an orc in their courtyard. They go out there just to like, hey, we need to do something about this. And I guess the president was supposed to make a video that would address it, but so far they haven't done anything. Like the brass at Blizzard has been super silent. Blizzard and Activision, for that matter, the same thing, I guess.
Are you familiar with Mark Kern?
Negative.
I don't know who that is.
He was a designer on World of Warcraft back in the day when it was like really, really popular. Even though it is still popular, but back when it first came out, he was working with Blizzard. He's doing a little kind of a protesting part where they're taking the character Mei from Overwatch.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that was his idea.
It was one of his ideas. Like he's telling people to do that in Hong Kong and post it everywhere.
Man, it blew up too. I'll tell you what.
May's about to get banned.
Yeah,
China.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to hurt Activision Blizzard by, oh look, Mei is a symbol of Hong Kong resistance, and then China will say, well, Overwatch is fucking banned, and then Activision Blizzard's going to lose a ton of money when that happens.
Well, yeah, think about it. China's really big. Like even with movies, like you don't hear about what it's doing internationally in Europe or what it's doing in USA. Every time you hear about movies, like what is it doing in China? Is it making money in China at all?
Yeah, that's really important. They're like one of the biggest. A lot of what happens in Hollywood movies is directly influenced by China. Like people joke about it, but it's absolutely true. They announced the next string of Marvel movies, and one of them was like directly. It was like Iron Fist, Mandarin stuff, or whatever. That's because of China. That's why that movie exists, so that they can have a bunch of Chinese characters and Chinese superheroes, so they can make a crud load of Chinese money. Which I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It might still be a really good movie, but that's the reason that movie exists, is because of the Chinese movie-going market.
Yeah, but imagine like, and if it's for a good cause, I'm all about it, especially when you have organizations who care about more of the China money than people's lives, like the NBA and Blizzard. You know, you take like a character for a Disney character. Let's say the Lion King. Let's just say Simba was fucking used as a symbol of hope for Hong Kong and their freedom and stuff. And then all of a sudden China reacts that there is no more Lion King in China. And then they keep on doing more characters and they keep on banning everything. That's going to put a little... I won't say it will crumble these corporations, but they're going to see the money start going away because they're not getting anything from China.
The reason they're doing this thing with May, and the reason a lot of this kind of stuff is happening with other companies, people are trying to force corporations to pick between making money, which is what they almost always choose, and taking a stance for, our way of life. I hate to paint it in these grandiose colors or whatever, but it is kind of a democracy versus whatever they're doing with their weird fascism or communism over there kind of thing.
But
I know how ignorant that sounds, but I'm trying to paint in as broad and non-specific strokes as I can.
But here's the thing, I'm well aware that businesses need to make money because that's how the world works. Money is, the way of life. But the thing that really gets me with Blizzard is the Hearthstone players. Did they do that in China or was that in America?
I don't recall. I think it wasn't in the United States, but it was somewhere else. I can't remember.
Okay. For example,
you can bet it was being broadcast in China. It was being broadcast in Hong Kong, which is part of China,
Yeah. But
their grin.
Away from gaming a little bit, NBA did the same thing where one of the players, or I think owner or whatever, tweeted, about, freedom in Hong Kong. And because the NBA has games going on in China before the season, like they have this preseason thing going on, the NBA pretty much disavowed what that one person tweeted. And it's really shitty because I guess the only thing you could look at is the terms of services when you are employed. When you know that stupid thing that you sign every time you get employed, where you just like you can't say shit on social media because you are now. It's like you wearing the uniform on social media. You can't be talking about this while you're with our company.
Yeah, it seems unfair of China at large to take advantage of the fact that, I mean, what someone says privately shouldn't reflect on a corporation, but they know that these kind of non-disclosure, or not non-disclosure, these, oh, there's a fancy word for it. They're not allowed to say bad stuff that will draw undue attention to their employer. And it's like kind of being exploited. And that's not to have a larger conversation, but that's kind of the way the culture is in the United States right now with like job lynch mobs and stuff like that. It's like everything's all about your opinion. And if you get yourself fired, they'll contact your employer. And I don't like what he said on Twitter. It's not cool.
Yeah. LeBron James did a little thing or tweet or like a news thing where he's like, "Hey, you shouldn't have been tweeting that. We were over there," and I'm like, "Dude, they're not gonna fucking murder you. Like, you're not a victim. People in Hong Kong, and I don't want to get into it, but people in Hong Kong."
LeBron James isn't worried about getting killed. LeBron James is worried about how much money he's going to make.
Exactly, and people in Hong Kong are burning LeBron James jerseys, which I think is funny. But I digress on that. It's really interesting because now companies are gonna. I believe Epic Games kind of disavowed Blizzard, which I find hilarious, by the way, because
I saw a really funny meme about that though, but it was like Epic says that they'd never do anything like this, and it's that shot from Wreck-It Ralph where he's in the villain's thing, and he's oh thanks Satan, because it's Epic Games, you know. It's like, oh man, fuck you, Epic.
And I believe their PC launcher is China. They're backed by China somehow. I don't know. It's weird.
China's got a big stake in them too.
China's got a stake in like look it up. Look up what all Tencent has stakes in just in gaming, and you'll be like, oh my god, what the fuck's going on? It's kind of shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of scary, really.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. What's funny is they canceled the Nintendo New York event for Overwatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's affecting.
Probably because they would have got lambasted probably.
Yeah, there would have been protesters there. You'd better believe it. There would have been a bunch of people there waving signs around. Nintendo was like, pass. We're not gonna be part of this.
And BlizzCon is happening at the end of this month, and I believe in the start of November. So
they said that you are not allowed to cosplay Winnie the Pooh at BlizzCon. I don't know if that was a troll, but when I read that, I was like, "That's hilarious."
Will you be able to cosplay May?
I would hope so.
Ooh,
interesting. And apparently, they're using was it red umbrellas, like a sign of hope or something like that? Again, with Hong Kong.
Well, it's the Hong Kong flag, right? It's like the white flower on a red background or something. Or am I crazy? Or no, I'm thinking about Taiwan. What am I thinking about?
They've got like a red and blue and white thing going.
And what's funny?
No, that's right. It's white on red. No, it's not good.
Yeah, what's funny about this whole thing is the meme of Taiwan #1 is the meme is coming back and it's like China #4. Oh man, I don't know if you ever seen that video before, but it's hilarious. Other than that, no other big gaming news is happening. This is kind of like the dead area. I mean, we could talk about PS5, but that's coming out next holiday.
I don't really think it's worth talking about yet. It's still kind of meh, like just real stuff that's not fully formed.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like pictures or some shit or like sketches of a prototype, and it looks really weird, but it's a prototype.
Oh, we could talk about this. Fuck, we're 3 weeks away from Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Fucking
I don't know what else there is to say. I'm just kind of waiting for the game to come out.
It's just coming. The other day, I saw Hideo Kojima tweeted. He's like, "Oh, it's 25 days," and that's kind of it. That's all you can say.
I saw the cover for it. Finally, the cover looks cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, since I'm moving, I have to, and I'm making a joke, people. I have to abort the baby edition. I have to get a regular edition.
Why for?
What?
But why?
Because I'm getting an apartment. I need to save money, so $200 is like too expensive.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'll probably get the metal case one because I like the metal case. It looks cool. And I want the fucking all gold accessories and shit because I don't know, I'm weird like that.
I don't care about that stuff. I hate when collector's editions come with digital content. It's like, man, I don't care about this. Give me stuff. I want stuff. I want an art book. I want the soundtrack.
On that note, I mean, there is no movie news, I don't think. What's the next big movie coming out?
I really want to see Jojo Rabbit. I don't know if it's a big movie, but that's the next one I want to see.
I mean, we still don't have a fucking actual Star Wars trailer. What do you guys think about that? Like,
I mean, I'm gonna see it. What do I need a trailer for?
true.
You need a trailer so all these other dumbass websites can write a bunch of stupid ass clickbaity articles to try to like analyze every goddamn second of a fucking trailer. I'm sorry if that came out really aggressive, but I'm tired of that stupid ass shit.
It's done. This is what the trailer might have actually revealed about Rey. Oh, did you know? These are 2 details you might have missed in the new trailer.
The sash on Rey's belt references Qui-Gon Jinn. It's stupid. Like, get the fuck out of here with this shit.
Rey is Boba Fett's daughter. Oh well.
Maybe. I guess that's possible.
It would be so left field, like, what?
I never thought about that, actually. You might be onto something there.
Fuck, I hope not. Because I'd be like, all of this for that shit? Feel like watching WWE, but I digress on that too. And I said digress too.
Hey, hang on. You got some video game news we can talk about, man. Brother, have you seen the screenshots and all the shit coming out for 2K20? Oh my god.
God, it looks like horrible shit. If anybody's gonna pick up that game, shame on you.
Don't do it. Just skip this one.
I sent Zach this, and I believe I put it in the chat with us too, where they're talking about bullying and stuff, like in school.
Andy, you should watch that clip. It's fucking hilarious.
And
damn,
the graphics look like PS2 graphics.
When people say that shit, usually like it's like really stupid and like hyperbolic and blown out of proportion and everything. But in this case, it actually is kind of appropriate. It's shocking how bad it looks.
Mm-hmm. I just give up, dude. Like, whatever. 2K needs to stop making wrestling games. Period.
Well, I heard the excuse here is like this year they finally dropped Ukes, which has been the developer ever since like SmackDown on the PlayStation, the first one. And that's a long time to keep making like one kind of game.
Well,
but I heard this year was the year they finally dropped them, and then like for some stupid reason, it was like 3/4 of the staff that was supposed to work on this game was actually working on the NBA game.
Oh god.
Most of the time. So I guess it was like a fucking logistics thing, and it was a dumb decision. I don't know.
That's where all the China money is.
Yeah, Tencent. China's in the NBA, China, video games. It's all connected.
But when they did Raw versus SmackDown series, like, those were fucking fun. They had, like, cool shit to do, with the campaign, and if you wanted to create, like, an e-fed where you could, like, you could book your own matches, like, it was cool to do that.
Is this footage from a game that's not even out?
Yeah, that's
it's gonna be out in a few days.
Yeah, that's 2K20 WWE.
It really does look like it's from like Bully on the PS2 or the Wii or something.
That's what everybody keeps saying, yeah. And the dialogue is like, oh my god.
I mean, the hair's moving, but everything else looks awful. And like the hand is clipping through the book, and It's just the worst.
Did you hear what they were saying?
No, I have my phone on silent. I'm not a monster. I'm trying to record a professional podcast.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, yeah. Listen to it after we're done, I guess.
Yeah, and then I showed you the picture of Asuka where her hair is like floating.
It's like her model left her hair behind. It's just like, it's like, it's embarrassing. Like, I kept hearing shit like, okay, they're really going to try on next year or some whatever. Like, I was hearing this before this happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was like, that's probably true. The next gen hardware, etc. They're probably going to try harder. We had this discussion way before all this shit happened, and boy, oh, we were right to make that decision.
I feel like people have been saying that about wrestling games for several years, though. It's always like, oh, next year they're going to do a harder job, but they just keep being bad.
Well, that's a little different in that case because like people have been bitching like they want Ukes out forever. They're gone now. They're actually gone.
Yeah.
So two things will happen, or three, I suppose. One, it'll stay the same and they won't do any actual work. Two, it'll get worse, or three, it'll get better or different somehow.
So things will either stay the same or they'll change.
Yeah, for better or worse. Because I don't know, they've done some interesting things with this one where they've done like kind of this hokey, goofy storyline stuff where it's like you can play as like a fucking. They did this weird thing with Bray Wyatt or whatever, and it's like they have all these done up versions of wrestlers, like Braun Strowman's a Frankenstein monster and shit.
Yeah.
Like that actually sounds kind of fun or cool. It's something different at least, for fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a wrestling game as a sim, whatever, I don't care. But a wrestling game is like a bonkers, crazy, arcade style, fun beat 'em up. Oh man, I'd buy that in a heartbeat. I mean, get crazy with it. Give them all weird fucking Dragon Ball powers. Make the plot larger than life.
Well, that's what SmackDown versus Raw was all about, where like the Undertaker was like haunting you and shit.
But that needs to
Yeah.
actually be an undead wizard. He needs to be a lich. That needs to be like canon in the game. There needs to be none of this like clever breaking kayfabe or social medias. No, I just want a bunch. I just want Dragon Ball. I guess that's what I'm trying to describe. I just want it to be like Justice League Dragon Ball, but in the wrestling ring.
Yeah, what the 2K series is trying to do now is like with the NBA game, where it's like, oh, you started from the bottom, now you're here, kind of thing. Same thing like last 2K19. You were an indie star that turned into a WWE wrestler, which I thought was pretty interesting. But again, SmackDown vs. Raw had all that wacky shit, and the road to WrestleMania was fucking cool. This bullshit that they have on the 2K games, I could care less. I don't know. I'm looking at the tweet. Somebody had like screen capped the girl with the fucking notebook going through her face.
The notebook's clipping through her head, yeah.
Hilarious.
God. It's embarrassing.
But I think we'll end it here because we did like an hour and a half about. So if you want to catch all our podcasts, we have this one, Big Trouble Podcast, Getting Some Color with me and Zach, and
By God,
and then the Resident Evil podcast, which we will be getting back on track with Resident Evil 5. Oh God, can't wait to do that.
oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh jeez. Oh God.
But if you want to catch all our episodes, make sure you go to novnetwork.podbean.com. We're also doing some live shit on there too. We're live right now. We had about 5 people in here, just being lurkers and everything. We're also on Twitch and Mixer. So if you want to listen to us live, we are in there. But if you can't catch us live, then go to novnetwork.podbean.com. Until next time, everybody. Remember to watch Crazies. See you later.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.